Welcome everyone to After the Bell with Jeff Meacham. I am Jeff Meacham. I guess that would be me. Thank you all for watching this again this week. We appreciate the viewership from last week. You guys came back and watched the studio show with a vengeance. No pun intended, even though there's no real pun to be necessary there. I don't know why. I guess my new catchphrase for the moment, no pun intended. Anyway, we got a good response last week. We got a great response in the Q&A again. There's a question on here that JJ forwarded to me, and I appreciate JJ, about the live Q&A returning. San Diego or Los Angeles in February for the shows that WWE is going to be coming in for. We will be doing that again. Just haven't decided which one is going to be. It depends how many people are around for either of them. So stay tuned for that. We will let you guys know in the SoCal area. So Mr. Jones 2210 as our first question for today. Do you think AJ Styles is one of the best wrestlers in the world, if not the best, besides Bryan Danielson? And do you think he deserves to be TNA champ? I would watch it more, and I think many people would too. What do you think? AJ has been world champion. AJ has been X Division champion. AJ has been tag team champion. He's been global, legends, TV, you know, whatever the hell you want to call that champion. You know, AJ has done it all. AJ is their greatest homegrown talent in the history of TNA. By far. No doubting that, no disputing that. AJ is the best guy that TNA has ever had. And he is their guy, and AJ being world champion is not a necessity for AJ Styles or for the company. Would more people watch if AJ was champion? I know I'd like to see AJ Styles be champion, but let's be real. We want to see, you know, guys that we're familiar with. A lot of people tuning in TNA these days are not familiar with AJ for the first time. They're not tuning in to see AJ. They're tuning in to see the Kurt Angles. They're tuning in to find out who this Bobby Roode guy is and who James Storm is. You know, they're trying to find out who these guys are. When they see AJ in the ring, they're going to be like, whoa, this guy's awesome. I want to see him be the champion. So AJ being the champion is both a blessing and a curse, because then AJ has all the responsibility dumped on him, and maybe or not, maybe not a good thing or a bad thing. Let's see, Acadia MLS. Hey Jeff, love the show. Over the past 2 years, we've seen the likes of Sin Cara, Alberto Del Rio, and more recently Hunico, Epico, and Primo being pushed, as well as the announcement of Mil Mascaras' induction into the WWE Hall of Fame. Personally, I really love to see the style that the American market is not familiar to being presented to them, and see if it works. And you, what do you think of the recent Hispanic outbreak in the WWE? Outbreak sounds like a disease or something, seriously. I have liked Alberto. I have liked Hunico to a certain extent. I don't like the fact that they're pushing Camacho, who is the son of Haku, as a Mexican. That's kind of wrong. Boy, it's Tongan. I don't think that's right, but it didn't need here nor there. I like Primo and Epico. I like Primo and Epico's manager. And I like Primo and Epico's manager's hips. And the way they don't lie. They just, all over the place. It's awesome. I like the recent influx. JJ and I went back and forth on the induction of Mil Mascaras in the WWE Hall of Fame. We had that discussion a couple weeks ago. And I don't necessarily agree with it, but again, he is Mexico's Hulk Hogan. And if Hogan's in, and it is the Wrestling Hall of Fame like they try to claim it is, so be it. Whatever. I do like the fact that the guys have been given an opportunity, the Mexican guys have been given an opportunity to shine like they haven't been in a long time, since the days of Eddie and Chavo and Ray being prominent. Hopefully those guys will continue to shine. Hopefully, you know, Sin Cara will come back, you know, with less botches in his system, and, you know, less, you know, chance of injury, and, you know, not get suspended for wellness policy violations, because he already has one strike on him for that. And hopefully Hunico and Camacho can do greater things too, instead of ride that crazy bike to the ring. The True Norwegian One, longtime fan ever since the first Renegade episode, so he goes back to the beginning of the channel. I wonder what you guys think of finishers and which type of finisher that works best. In my opinion, the fast, easy, used finishers are usually the best in wrestling, like the Diamond Cutter, the RKO, or the Stunner, which is essentially the same move. Possibly the crossface or the ankle lock for the best submission ones. I want to hear your opinion on the best through all time and the best type of finisher. He did say guys, So I'm going to ask JJ his opinion as he's trying to do another topic for another show and interrupted. I apologize for that.
It's all good.
Favorite type of finisher as far as like, you know, explosive finisher and then I guess the submission style as well.
I gotta agree that usually the quick out of nowhere finishers tend to sometimes be more effective. Doesn't necessarily make them my favorite though. I always like the type of finisher that you could see being set up. You know, for the tag teams, it's the 3D.
Yeah.
Because you can see the minute that the opponent gets ripped into the rope, that, okay, it's about to come, lift them up, drop them down. For singles, my favorite finisher of all time has got to be the Canadian Destroyer. And especially once Petey started to get cocky with it, and he'd act like he's reeling them in, because they get up after, forget how he set them up, what move he'd use, but get up all dizzy, and he'd just start jumping and pulling them in like a rope, hook them, flip and spike them. Fucking epic.
Was that what Ray was doing Saturday night, reeling them in like Petey? Is that what he was doing? I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Okay, that makes sense.
As far as submissions, far be it from me to consider myself a submission expert. I wish Bruce were here to throw his 2 cents on this.
Right.
Bruce usually watches the show, so 6 String Samurai 7, if you can leave a comment about submission moves, feel free to.
Please do.
Cloverleaf and the crossface, though.
Okay.
Cloverleaf and the crossface.
Yeah, I agree with both of those. Crossface, the crossface, or the label lock, whatever you want to call it this week, although they are slightly different. There's a slight variation. But both
the
of those,
label lock is a modified
crossface. Very, very good. Yes. Both those are tremendous. The Texas Cloverleaf was just so, you know, especially by Dean Malenko, obviously. Dean Malenko. You know what I like now? What really amazes me is Natalia's sharpshooter, because she bends them little princesses in half, like a freaking pretzel, and just sits down and just rears back. You know, Brett's is obviously the original, the best. You know, Sting is obviously the original, and WCW the best. But you know, it really, you know, as far as explosive finishers, finisher movers, the cutter, you know, the Bubba cutter, the RKO, the Diamond cutter, the stunner,
the Ace Crusher.
The Ace Crusher, I'll give the stupid asshole due. You know, he was the originator of it. Whatever, I'll give him his due. But you know, that move is by far the most pop right away. More often than not, you saw it coming as far as when Austin did it because he was kicking the gut. But when Randy does it, when Dallas did it, when Johnny did it, you didn't see it coming. It was just boom out of nowhere. And it was really just, wow. It was really awesome. Let's see. This is from Tabsy619. Do you think we are seeing a changing of the guard in WWE with guys like Punk, Ziggler, Rhodes, and Bryan getting pushed when 2 years ago guys of their size never got a look in? Is this down the WWE evolving, or is it just because the talent of those guys can't be ignored? Also, with Bryan coming straight out of Ring of Honor and becoming a success, will this become a trend for Ring of Honor indie guys to come in and have a chance to be taken seriously rather than suffer with a crappy gimmick? Well, Bryan, you gotta remember, Bryan came to WWE in 2009, I want to say. And he was in Florida for a while. He stayed in Florida and developed, and, you know, he was still Bryan Danielson and then Daniel Bryan. And then he was called up. And, you know, you've got guys like Claudio Castagnoli, who's got Antonio Cesaro as his name now. What? You know, you've got Chris Hero, who should have been signed and wasn't signed. You've got, you know, guys like Davey Richards, who smaller than Hero and Castagnoli, but, you know, once Davey fulfills his Ring of Honor champion obligations, who say he won't get signed? Guys like Eddie Edwards, you know, guys like the Briscoes, not Jack and Jerry, but Mark and Jay.
Assuming they show up.
Assuming they show up. Oh, damn. That was a Gorilla thing. I heard more than anything else. I don't know what was going on between Gorilla and them, but I heard it was more of a Gorilla thing than a Briscoes thing. Anyway, now that I've got myself in trouble on my own show for another comment, you know, guys like that, you know, they could go straight into the main roster, but they won't, because WWE wants to make sure they mold them like clay and turn them into, make sure they pour their Kool-Aid down their throat and make sure that they drink the right flavor before they start coming up to the WWE television broadcast. So I'd like to see it, but it's unlikely. And as far as the changing of the guard in general, I mentioned this, I don't know if I mentioned earlier in this show or last show, because they all kind of blur together anymore. That picture we had on our websites for a while, as far as the champions, all young guys and gal, all a symbol, hopefully a changing of things to come, that the young studs and the young lady were going to get their opportunity in WWE. And even now, with the Air Boom losing the belts to the Colognes, it's still a couple of young guys. So hopefully this will be a sign of things to come. Rabid Pit 189. Jeff, with WWE having branched into other entertainment venues, movies, football, and now their own TV network, do you ever see Vince McMahon taking the chance of promoting MMA events? And should the WWE go down that road, do you think the endeavor would be more successful than XFL was? No, absolutely not. MMA's field, is UFC, is Dana's, WWE promoting a shoot fight here and there, or shoot fight if you will, here and there would be maybe successful, maybe not. But I really don't think that it'll be, a thing to do in the long run as far as having it be a success, permanently for them. I don't think that'll be a good thing for WWE to try to do that. I think they need to stick to professional wrestling, sports entertainment, and just leave it at that. Let's see, this one is from Styles XOFX Fate. Hall of Fame question. In my opinion, there is one wrestler who has not been inducted in the Hall of Fame that deserves it more than others. Davey Boy Smith was, in my opinion, the greatest British wrestler to ever step foot in the WWE ring. Yes, he was never the world champion, but he was still a focal point in my wrestling fan career. He represented his country with heart and determination. He was part of one of the greatest wrestling families of all time, the Harts. Do you think he will get inducted anytime soon in the Hall of Fame? If he does, will it be by himself, with Dynamite Kid, or with the induction of the full Hart family? Well, the Hart family is mostly in. I mean, Stu's in. So, once Stu's in, it kind of filters down. Owen should be in. Will he be in? No, not until Martha Hart realizes that that's what the people want, that's what the fans want, that's what his family wants, not Martha and the kids, but what his wrestling family wants. That's what we want to see, is Owen Hart with his brother Bret in the Hall of Fame. But I don't think Martha cares, so we're not going to see Owen. As far as Davey Boy goes, I would like to see the British Bulldogs into the Hall of Fame. I don't know if Dynamite will go and accept because of the bitterness between him and WWE. But I have learned to never say never in wrestling, and I think that if the olive branch is extended to the Dynamite Kid to go in with Davey Boy as the Hall of Famers, as the British Bulldogs, we might see it. Davey Boy by himself deserve it? Yes. The Bulldogs as a tag team deserve it? Yes. With my final few moments here, I'm going to do a cheap plug because that's what I used to do on other shows, and that's what I'm best at. Battleground Pro Wrestling at BattleRagesOn.com. Their show last weekend was tremendous. It was the Battleground Blitz. We had a Royal Rumble style. It was a combination of Royal Rumble and Final Four pay-per-view. Remember that one, the Interhouse pay-per-view from 1997. 4 guys in the ring at once, and whenever a guy was eliminated, it'd be a pinfall, submission, or over the top rope, or disqualification, and then the guy would come down. The winner of that was Brandon Gatson, and now on February 25th in Los Alamitos at 3252 Foresta Street, there we go, that's what it is, you can see Brandon Gatson challenge the BPW Heavyweight Champion Rico Dynamite, who has been on the NWA Hollywood. Brandon is a PWG vet. He's been PWG for a minute, and he is awesome. It'll be a great match, no doubt. Card to be announced later. You can check out the Facebook at Battleground Pro Wrestling or BattleRagesOn.com. Friend those guys, talk to those guys know what they're talking about. We just had a lot of those guys last weekend, I believe it was, at Pro Wrestling Massive. Another great company. I can't say enough about those guys. a lot of indie things happening in the world of Casa 18 Studios. You've got Pro Wrestling Massive, you've got Battleground, you've got NWA Hollywood when we're helping out there, you've got Wild still at the forefront of my mind. Everything is happening, things are going down, and we will keep you informed on our Facebooks, on our Twitters, and right here on our shows. And for now, I will say good night and see you next time.